Hey guys, I'm Antwan and I'm a Deadpool one trick. With the most hours spent on DPS pool and heal pool, since I kinda find tank pool to be a bit boring. I've only picked Grandmaster this season, playing mainly DPS pool and heal pool as I said. And today I'll be bringing you the ultimate heal pool guide. Since I've noticed there's like 0 heal pool guides out there's tank pool guides, obviously that's his most popular role. There's DPS pool guides, but there are 0 heal pool guides. And to be fair, strategist is his least popular role out of the 3. And in my opinion, his most underrated one. Listen, I know I'm not the rank 1 heal pool, nor the top 500 heal pool, or anything fancy like that, okay? But I've spent a decent amount of hours learning every single one of his roles, and I've experimented a lot on heal pool, because I really love this character and I think he's very fun. So give him a chance, who knows? Now, before we get started, I just want to let you know that Healpool is not a sit back and heal type of support, okay? He's a dive strategist, he wants to dive, he works best with dive comps, and if I had to compare him to a similar support, I would say he's closer to White Fox. And I'd go as far as to say that if he gets all of his upgrades, he's way better than White Fox. Now, I say this because if you play Healpool and you sit back healing your teammates and using your ult as a defensive ult, you are going to be very disappointed. Your ult is not a defensive ult, it can't out-heal a lot of the DPS ults. If there's a Punisher ult or a Hela ult, you can't really defend against it, you're gonna die before you even hit the jackpot. You can't really save your team by ulting. Healpool strength comes from diving and enabling dive, not from just sitting back and healing. Now, enough of that, let's talk about his abilities. Number 1, your passive. After staying out of combat for a short period of time, Deadpool will start regenerating his health back to full. Note that out of combat means also not dealing damage to enemies or healing allies. If you're very low, your healing factor will never kick in if you keep healing your teammates. Now there's also a second part to this, which is basically if you take more than 200 damage within a 2-second window, your healing factor kicks in and boosts the healing. That also means you are able to survive most, if not all, one-shot ults, like Iron Man ult or Scarlet Witch ult, as long as your passive is off cooldown. Very small fun fact, Healpool's passive has a 30-second cooldown, unlike his brothers, Tank Pool and DPS Pool, who have a 45-second cooldown on their passives. Second, your double jump. Healpool works very similarly to DPS Pool, which means you have infinite conditional double jumps. If you double jump off of a wall, off of an enemy, or an ally, you can perform another double jump. Double jumping on enemies gives you a full grade on your ult. Jumping on allies and healing them, it's very important that you heal them because without the heal it doesn't work. You also get another full grade on your ult. Number 3, guns. Your guns are the main way of healing allies and dealing damage to enemies, and the upgraded version basically just heals more and deals more damage, but also gives you extra ammo, gives you extra bullets, and generates a Deadpool poop, if I can call it that gets unleashed every 5 shots, causing an explosion that obviously heals allies and deals damage to enemies. Now, your swords. Your swords deal damage to enemies and heal the allies around the enemy you're hitting. There are 2 types of attacks, there's 2 slashes, and between those 2 slashes you get a whoop 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 type of attack, which if you are in the air and looking at someone's head can crit. Very important to know that you can't heal allies by slashing your swords on them, you only heal them if you're hitting an enemy. The upgraded version of the swords makes the swords attack faster, do more damage, more healing, and most importantly, every time you double jump, you guarantee a crit. That means you force Deadpool into that boop 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 animation. After that, we have the icon throw. The icon throw is probably the bread and butter of Healpool. It's his most important ability in my opinion, and I'll talk about the combos later, but for now, I'll just describe the ability. So once you click it, you throw the icon, and after a certain distance it stops and creates a small area until it comes back to you. Allies that get caught into its path, or the area that it creates, get healed while enemies get damaged. The upgraded version makes you throw the icon 2 more times for a total of 3 times. And the last throw makes it explode instead of returning to you, dealing a burst of damage to enemies and doing a burst of healing to allies. And no, the Lord icon doesn't do bonus damage, and it doesn't do bonus healing, unfortunately. Now, the dashes. The dashes are pretty self-explanatory. You just dash wherever you're looking at, right? You just have to know that if you hit an enemy with a dash, it has the same effect as hitting him with a sword slash. It creates a healing area around the enemy. Now, if you're coming from tank pool or DPS pool, it's very important to know that you don't get the timer until you upgrade your right clicks. That means you only have 2 dashes that you need to use wisely. As I said, once you upgrade them, you get a timer that allows you to do up to 3 dashes as long as you're hitting an enemy, or until the timer ends. Now, let's talk about his E, his most underutilized ability, and I'll explain why that's the case pretty soon. So, your E creates a circular area that heals allies, deals damage to enemies, and makes their screen have those little deadpools that cover their health bar, their cooldowns and stuff like that, right? Which, as a fun fact, you can get rid of by doing a total of 100 damage to Deadpool. This works on every Deadpool, by the way. If you deal 100 damage to tank pool, DPS pool or heal pool, even if you're in the area, these effects disappear. Now, the upgraded version of the E. The upgraded version of the E not only increases the healing, the damage it does, and the amount of Deadpools that appear in your enemies' screens, also damage boosts Deadpool and his allies that are within the circle by 20 whole fucking %. Here are some examples. You can see the difference between Venomolt without the damage boost, and then you can see Venomolt with the damage boost. Normally, if the Venom is able to time his right click, 250 targets get one-shotted, 100%. Here you can see Black Widow trying to one-shot a 250 target, she's unsuccessful, and then with the damage boost, obviously she's able to. As a comparison, I need you to know that Mantis' damage boost is only 12%, while Deadpool's is 20. Fucking 20. Let's get to his 2 ults. Healpool's gun ult isn't that bad, like it does a lot more healing than the sword ult, but the main difference is that it doesn't give you the unconditional double jumps, which means you're very vulnerable to damage, but at the same time it's not at the same level as a normal defensive ult, so it's kinda awkward. It does have some use cases, like if you ult a Moon Knight that's ulting, every time a Hand of Khonshu is not hitting a player, he gets damaged, so you can one-shot him. There's also maybe a Punisher in low elo that misses all of his ults, but it doesn't work that well with a Punisher. There's also Gambit, because Gambit needs to be hitting every single card he throws at you, otherwise it counts as missing, so he takes tick damage and heals your team, and every time he dashes, it also counts as missing someone, so he keeps taking damage. So there's definitely use cases, but these are quite rare. And I think his sword ult is just way more consistent. I'll explain why in a bit. Speaking of sword ult, his sword ult creates a healing circular area, gives you movement speed, and very importantly, it gives you an infinite amount of unconditional double jumps. That means they reset even if you don't hit a wall, an ally or an enemy. So you can just pop your sword ult and start jumping around. Now, popping your ult unlocks a challenge, as you can see on the bottom right, which, if you complete, you get the jackpot, which further increases the healing and your movement speed. The upgraded version lasts a bit longer, and as soon as you hit the jackpot, you get an 1x 300 overshield. Your passive that can save you from one-shot ults resets, and you get even more movement speed and healing over time. This is the best engage tool. use it as soon as you get it, especially early game, and engage with your team. If you combine it with your E-healing over time, it can get to Invisible Woman ult levels of healing, but that's only for like 4 seconds because your E lasts 4 seconds. Speaking of upgrades, as you can see down at the bottom below my health, Deadpool has an XP bar. This XP bar goes up just by existing, it increases every time you deal damage, heal allies on Healpool, or the best way to do it on every Deadpool, not just Healpool, is by getting a photo. Getting a photo makes you invulnerable to damage, nobody can touch you for a certain period of time. While we're at it, getting a picture on Healpool is quite rare, especially compared to tank pool and DPS pool, since you don't deal as much damage and your main goal is to heal. So every time you have a chance to take a photo, just take it, especially in the early game, it's very important. Now let's talk about the upgrade order. My upgrade order is Icon Throw, since the Icon Throw is the more consistent and the safest first upgrade, mainly because it increases your healing output and damage output, which snowballs into faster and more upgrades. My second upgrade is the Sword Ult, followed by my E because of the damage boost, which is very important, then my dashes, which allow me to stay in fights for longer. Now the fifth upgrade is personal preference and kinda team comp dependent. If you have a lot of divers or enemy has a lot of seal tanks and divers, and basically whenever you wanna use swords a lot, you should obviously just choose swords as your fifth upgrade. Now if you're playing a bit more defensively and not engage as much, or you have flyers or a lot of poke and not a lot of dive. I say this because there's a lot of DPS pool players that just pick heal pool to get the upgrades faster and then they swap. So whenever you do that, you probably don't have enough divers to do the normal and standard build. You have maybe poke heroes with you, you have other healers to heal, maybe flyers, stuff like that. That's why I would probably just go guns. No matter the upgrade order or how much it changes, just make sure you upgrade your gun ult last. In my experience, Healpool has the most variations in the upgrade order compared to the other Deadpools. So, for example, I might upgrade my Sword Ult first if I have a very early S rank on my ult and I am on the attacker side, meaning I have to engage with my team to capture the point. Deadpool always gets his ult first compared to other supports. So if you're at a domination map or a convoy from the attacker side and it's early game, and you are very comfortable with getting jackpot without your right click, which is the easiest way to get it, you can do Sword Ult first upgrade and pretty much just send it, go in. You can change your fourth upgrade a bit, like I always go dashes unless they have a thing. For example, they have a lot of peeling, they have a lot of CC and it's very risky for me to engage or stay up and I can't really have a lot of uptime, or playing against a Magneto or a Hulk because their bubbles just fuck up your right clicks. That means your dashes don't get that timer I was talking about earlier, they just disappear. It's the most annoying shit ever. I think they should fucking remove this shit. You can do guns fourth, then you can do swords fourth, it really depends on the situation. But yeah, enough upgrades, time to talk about some combos. First things first, you need to get comfortable at using his double jump on walls to traverse the map, since this gives you ways to escape or engage. You should also get very comfortable at jumping on allies and enemies alike. Allies whenever you want to heal them, obviously to get your S rank as fast as possible, and on enemies whenever you do combos on them, whenever you want to escape them, and vice versa. Now, I did say you can get a very fast ult in the early game by jumping on allies' heads, and I've seen a lot of people doing this where they communicate about it, which is a nice thing to do, it's very cool, but realistically it almost never happens unless you're a 6-stack, because the other healer or the other healers will always be healing the low HP target. They will never let you fully jump on him, right? Unless you're a duo, but even then it's like, it almost never happens. Yeah, if you can make it work, go ahead. If you're a DPS pool player, you will already know this, but you need to get used to dashing and then jumping off of enemies' heads. Be careful though, without the upgraded dashes, you can only do this once. If you do it twice, you won't have another dash to escape. You will only have your jump and you're cooked. If you do this, you're omega cooked. You're a 250 target inside the enemy team, you are going to get cooked. Just be mindful. This combo also helps with achieving the jackpot. Now, speaking of jackpot, let's break down the ways you can easily get jackpot on Healpool. Jackpot on Healpool is way easier to get than jackpot on DPS pool. Firstly, the conditions of getting the jackpot are showcased on top of the sword ult every time you pop it. As you can see, you can get it by dashing, by throwing your icon, and by jumping. The double jump can also be used on allies to get the jackpot, unlike DPS pool or tank pool, even if you don't heal the allies, which is very important. Now, with your icon throw, you get 1 point per target damage or heal tick. I say per damage or heal tick because your icon throw is your best friend during your pre-jackpot ult, as it's a lot more forgiving on heal pool compared to DPS pool, because every time it passes through an enemy or an ally, every time, not just the first time, you get points. That means if you can manage to hit enough people at once, you can get instant jackpot. Another combo you wanna do to get the jackpot is the dashes into the jump that I talked about earlier. And last but not least, I need you to keep in mind that even if you miss the jump on the allies and you're very close to jackpot, you have infinite unconditional double jumps. Just keep trying until you get it. Don't panic. Just keep trying to get it. But I'm gonna be honest, more often than not, you will find yourself just popping the jackpot by throwing your icon. That's the most consistent way you will be getting the jackpot. Now, when I talked about the upgraded swords, remember how I mentioned that you are guaranteed to hit a headshot, like you do the headshot animation, whenever you hit a double jump? This is very important to know every time you do the double jump dash combo. You should always wave in melee attacks aiming down at their heads. The slashes themselves don't do extra healing, but since the attack animation is way faster, you heal your allies way faster. So, a combo that you also do on DPS pool is you do the normal attack to prepare the fast attack, then you dash into the enemy, you jump off of them and attack at the same time, and you will get 2 sequences of headshot and fast attacks. If you pop your E during all of this with a damage boost, you can outdive the enemy diver, can even catch healers off guard and one-shot them, and they're gonna be like, no way Healpool can kill me, right? But no, the damage boost from your E allows to pretty much just one-shot them and catch them off guard. Now let's get to some tips and tricks. Tip number 1. There are certain things that cancel your upgraded icon throws. The first one is opening your book. Keep in mind that it's all about the timing. The second one is switching weapons. The third one is dashing, and the fourth one, which is very rare because you never use gun ult, is gun ulting. A very common mistake I was making every time I played the Healpool is throwing my icon, then ulting, and then right clicking as soon as my icon returned, which would mean I would lose my icon throw. What you want to try to do is use your abilities in a way that there is no pauses between your combos. That means you throw your icon, then you dash into the enemy before your icon returns, then you pop ult, which shares the animation with the icon throw, then you do your normal combos, and then as soon as you go for another icon throw, use your E, which also shares the animation with the icon throw. This way your combos are smooth, and there are 0 pauses between your combos. Here's a look on how the combo looks normally. Tip number 2. Every time you upgrade one of your 3 abilities, icon throw, E, and dashes, they reset. So you make sure to use them just before upgrading them to get the max value. Tip number 3. if I'm playing with one more strategist instead of two, I make sure to pop my E, mainly in early game, before opening the book to not miss out on the heals. Speaking of opening the book, tip number 4 is there's a trick you can do to cancel the book animation when upgrading, which is done by hitting escape twice right after selecting your upgrade. Here's a comparison on how much faster it is. Tip number 5, throw your icon in ways to hit both enemies and heal allies, and make sure the area it lands is as big as possible, even though, I'm gonna be honest, the hitbox is very forgiving. Tip number 6, you can use your sword ult when your icon throw is still in the ground as long as it's hitting enemies, and it will count towards the jackpot challenge. Now, I talked about Healpool's playstyle at the start of the video, but please just play him with divers. You have no idea how much value you're getting. Don't sit back and heal. Do not sit back and heal. You will always be getting your ult first as a support, so use that advantage to attack or win the first fight. You will be always winning the first fight with Healpool, unless you fuck up. And that's on you. That's 100% on you. Now, obviously Healpool is not as popular, so sometimes you have to explain to your team what you wanna do. Once you pop ult, you need to keep telling them, I am going in, please gather up to me. Don't be afraid to open the voice chat and talk to them. Now, before I close the video, I do have some suggestions for Healpool. Netease, if you're listening, please make him 275. I don't care. I do not care. You're giving so many heroes 275 that don't deserve it. I don't understand why Cloak and Dagger have 275. If Cloak and Dagger, a very safe support, is allowed to have 275 HP, then there's no reason for Healpool, a melee support that has to go in with his fellow divers, shouldn't have 275. Please. Then you could also give him a few more dashes, like after he gets the jackpot his dashes should reset, because like yes, I do have infinite double jumps, but like I'm not exactly fighting with the double jumps, I'm just jumping around, I wanna fight. Like he obviously shouldn't have infinite dashes. That would be broken, that would be cool, but it would be broken, I do understand that, but please make his dashes reset after the jackpot so I can keep going and keep fighting and do shit. While we're at it, give him more early game dashes before the upgrade, like just give him more dashes. I don't understand why Tankpool has the timer and Healpool doesn't. On Healpool, you basically have one dash. Like I said earlier, if you use one of these two dashes, you have to use the other one to escape, so you only have a single dash to use. I don't understand how a dive character only has a single dash before upgrade, and it's not even an early upgrade, it's your 4th upgrade. Please, Netease, please. I want more uptime instead of just jumping around like a fucking bunny. I'm not a bunny. I'm Deadpool. I wanna slice people, you know. And last but not least, please, I fucking beg you, please. This tilts me so fucking hard every fucking time. Please, fix the fucking double jumps. You have no idea how many times they bug out. There are certain maps I know exactly which spots bug. Please, just fix that. Whenever I want to escape, like, I've spent so many hours learning how to properly double jump. There's absolutely no reason for me to not be rewarded. Please, missing a double jump can be a deciding factor between winning a team fight or losing a team fight, because you can die, you lose your combos. Please fix the double jumps on walls. I beg you, just fix this, like, please. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.